They call it ugly. Soldiers call it a lifesaver. Meet the A-10 Warthog, the jet that flies low, takes hits, and keeps firing. No glamour, no speed records, just ruthless efficiency where it matters most, right above the troops. And yes, this video is about that legend, the close air support machine built to do one job better than anything else. Show up, soak up, and shut down whatever's hurting your guys on the ground. What you'll see in this video, why it refuses to die, the design choices that make it absurdly survivable, the heart of the beast, a cannon so brutal it rewrote how tanks think about the sky, the controversy, the one fight that nearly grounded it, and the reason it's still here. If you think the A-10 is just an old jet with a loud gun, give me 2 minutes. You'll see why pilots love it, infantry trusts it, and rivals fear it. Roll title card, A-10 Warthog, built to stay, built to save. To understand why the A-10 exists, you need to go back to the late 1960s. Vietnam was raging, and US troops on the ground were desperate for help from the sky. The problem? Their support aircraft was a leftover from the 1940s, the Douglas A-1 Sky Raider. Slow, vulnerable, outgunned. In fact, 266 Sky Raiders were lost in combat over Vietnam. The US Air Force realized it needed something radically different. Fast enough to respond, tough enough to survive ground fire, deadly enough to tear apart tanks and armor. So in 1966, General John P. McConnell launched the AX program, demanding a new jet that could fly 460 miles per hour, carry 16,000 pounds of weapons, take off from short runways, and cost no more than $1.4 million each, around $12 million today. Fairchild Republic won the contract. General Electric built the gun, and the result wasn't just another aircraft. It was the first US jet designed entirely around a cannon. The philosophy was clear. Don't just fly over the battlefield. Stay there, take hits, keep firing. If there's one word that defines the A-10, it's survivor. This isn't a sleek stealth jet. It's a flying tank, built to keep coming back no matter what the battlefield throws at it. Here's how engineers made it nearly indestructible. Engines placed high on the fuselage. That way, they're protected from ground fire and can even keep running while the jet is being rearmed. And by routing exhaust over the tail, they slashed the infrared signature, making it harder for heat-seeking missiles to lock on. Fuel tanks with backup after backup. The tanks are self-sealing, lined with foam. And even if all 4 are destroyed, the jet can still fly over 230 miles on reserve. Redundant flight controls. Lose hydraulics. No problem. The A-10 has a mechanical backup system. Lose one engine, half a tail, or part of a wing. Pilots have still brought it home. The titanium bathtub. The pilot literally sits in an armored tub. 12,000 pounds of titanium plates that shrug off 23mm cannon fire. Even fragments from 57mm shells can't get through. And then there's the trick move. Many Warthogs have a fake canopy painted on the underside. To enemies looking up, it's disorienting. They can't tell which way the jet is turning. Confusion equals survival. No wonder troops call it the plane that just won't die. Every legend has a core. For the A-10, it isn't the armor, the wings, or even the engines. It's the GAU-8 Avenger, a gun so massive it literally defines the plane itself. This 7-barreled Gatling cannon fires 30mm rounds the size of beer bottles. In 1 second, it can unleash nearly 65 shells, shredding tanks and armored vehicles as if they were paper. Originally, it could fire up to 4,200 rounds per minute, but the Air Force settled on a steady 3,900, still enough to empty its magazine in just 18 seconds. Pilots rarely hold the trigger that long though. 1 or 2 second bursts are all it takes to erase targets. To put it in perspective, the gun is so large that the A-10 needs a jack under its tail during maintenance. Otherwise, the weight of the Avenger makes the entire aircraft tip forward. The cannon alone is longer than a Volkswagen Beetle. And every pull of the trigger sounds like a growl that ground troops have nicknamed the BRRRT. This isn't just firepower. It's psychological warfare. When enemies hear that sound, they don't just fear the rounds. They fear what comes with them. An A-10 that won't leave until the job is done. A war machine this effective was never going to stand still. From the 1970s to today, the A-10 has gone through wave after wave of upgrades, each one keeping it relevant for modern battlefields. Laser eyes in the 70s. The Warthog gained the Pave Penny laser receiver, letting pilots guide munitions with precision. Navigation in the 80s. Inertial navigation systems gave A-10s the ability to strike with accuracy, even in poor weather or low visibility. Smart weapons in the 90s. The Lantern and later the Lightning targeting pods turned this low-tech beast into a precision strike aircraft. The A-10C revolution. Between 2005 and 2011, the entire fleet was upgraded. Multifunction displays, hands-on throttle and stick controls, Link 16 data link for real-time communication, integration of smart bombs and Jeeps guided munitions, APK's rockets. In the 2010s, the A-10 gained laser-guided rockets, making it deadly against both small, moving targets and armored vehicles. And then came the new wings. Boeing replaced aging wings with stronger ones that guaranteed the Warthog will keep flying well into the 2030s and even the 2040s. The result? A jet that entered service in the 1970s is still flying missions half a century later, and doing it better than many aircraft designed decades after it. For all its battlefield glory, the A-10's biggest battles haven't always been against enemy tanks. Many of them were fought in Washington. Since the early 2000s, the US Air Force has repeatedly tried to retire the Warthog. The argument? It's too slow, too old, and in a future war against Russia or China, it wouldn't survive advanced air defenses. But Congress, and more importantly, frontline troops, disagreed. Time and time again, lawmakers blocked the Air Force's attempts to phase it out. Why? Because when soldiers on the ground need air support, nothing else comes close. Even as F-35s and drones entered service, the Warthog proved its worth in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. Its ruggedness, firepower, and low cost kept it in the fight. In 2024, the Air Force still had over 200 A-10s in service, and despite sending dozens to the boneyard, the jet was once again called into action in the Middle East. It's a paradox. The Air Force wants to move on, but the battlefield keeps demanding the A-10. Some war machines fade into museums. The A-10 refuses. This jet has survived battlefield damage that would have sent others crashing into the dirt. Pilots have landed Warthogs missing half a wing, an engine, even parts of the tail. The titanium bathtub around the cockpit makes sure the person flying it almost always comes home. And it's not just physical survival. The Warthog has survived political attacks, budget cuts, and decades of predictions that it would be gone next year. Yet, here it is, still flying, still fighting. That's why troops call it more than a plane. It's a promise that when things get desperate on the ground, the Warthog will show up and stay until the job is done. Like the aircraft carrier was branded unsinkable, the A-10 is the plane that won't die. A stubborn, noisy, ugly guardian that proves beauty doesn't win wars. Reliability does. The A-10 may be American-born, but its shadow stretches far beyond U.S. borders. In 2024, Warthogs were once again deployed to the Middle East amid fears of escalating conflict between Israel and Iran. They flew missions over Syria, delivering precision strikes while newer, more advanced jets stayed farther back. Foreign militaries have shown interest too. Speculation has swirled about the Warthog being transferred to allies like Jordan or even Ukraine, nations hungry for a rugged aircraft that can loiter low, take punishment, and keep delivering firepower. And then there's the rivalry. In any talk of a Pacific War scenario, critics point out that Chinese air defenses would chew up slow aircraft like the A-10. Yet supporters counter with a simple truth. When soldiers need cover, stealth jets fly away, but the Warthog circles back. It's more than a weapon. It's a philosophy, a rejection of fragile perfection in favor of brute force reliability. And that philosophy has made the A-10 a symbol of American persistence, admired even by rivals who secretly fear its presence above the battlefield. For half a century, the A-10 Warthog has been mocked for its looks and doubted by its own commanders. But it has outlasted those doubts, those budget cuts, and even the very wars it was never supposed to fight. It is ugly, it is loud, it is slow, and yet it is beloved, feared, and nearly indestructible. From the jungles of Vietnam to the deserts of Iraq, from Cold War Europe to today's Middle East, the A-10 has proven one thing above all. It's not just a plane, it's a promise to the troops on the ground that they will never be left alone. The real question isn't whether the Warthog can survive another battle. It's whether the US Air Force, or any future aircraft, can ever truly replace it. So tell us, Who do you think could ever fill the Warthog's shoes? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the legend of the A-10, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our next story. Because the Warthog may not be pretty, but legends rarely are.